me introduce our first guest who's going to give us a quick intro into a really exciting opportunity for maybe some of you or for folks that you know about, okay? That you know. So his name is Mr. Dane Myers, and he's from Entrepreneur Ready, and they've developed an amazing platform that is called howtostartsomething.com. And I'm not going to steal his thunder. Dane, welcome to the Morning Huddle. Tell us more about How to Start Something and what is it about? What's going on? What are you guys working on?
Good morning. Thank you, Danilo. I think it's so great that you do this. I think this is amazing. I didn't know about this, but I would like to come to this. I'm so excited to see all the people here with their businesses and bringing what they create to the world. Danilo, if you'll let me turn on some screen sharing, I'd like to play
Absolutely.
just a video here to get started. But basically, what we're providing is a early stage accelerator. So there's a tremendous entrepreneurship community already set up here in Miami-Dade County. And we think that one of the pieces that we can bring to the table this year is a way for people who are really early stage. Maybe they have an idea for starting something. Maybe you have a micro business and you're still trying to pivot and figure out who exactly is your customer, what exactly is your niche in the marketplace. And so that's with the support of JP Morgan and Chase. We're going to be providing that at no cost to residents of Miami-Dade County. So if you know somebody who wants to start a business, or if you have a small business that you're looking to really figure out where your niche is, this is a great opportunity for you to participate in this. It's a 6 to 10 month program, so it's pretty comprehensive, pretty in-depth, and you actually will take your idea through this learning framework and take action on your business, on your idea as you go. And then through this process, you will kind of hit all the points of learning about your relationship to the business as a founder, understanding what your market is, who you're going to serve, understanding what your offering is to those people, and then getting into the marketing and finance and operations aspects of it as well. And so not only are you going to get these resources, but you also get one-on-one feedback from coaches who are experienced entrepreneur coaches. And then also you're going to get connected in the community, kind of like this. So we have bi-weekly calls where you can meet other like-minded individuals. And this is really my favorite part of getting to coach in this program and be part of it, is seeing the relationships that develop from it, because these continue to bring value to the people in these communities as they get plugged in and connected and opportunities emerge. So if I can, I'm just going to
have you're the co-host now, Dane. And I wanted to highlight a couple things that you just said. So this program, how long is it, Dane?
The program is 6 to 10 months. So you go at your own pace. But generally we think about 6 to 10 months, and usually about 5 to 7 hours a week of work at your own pace. So if you have a full-time job or you have a family and you can't go somewhere at a specific time every week, you can do this as you get availability to do it.
And Dane, and one of the things I want to let everybody know is that you were showing me the curriculum and kind of the system itself, just a brief demo, and with Pam and Leo. And one of the things I was so impressed about is just how thorough you are. I mean, you really cover every single skill set that you as a small business owner need to take your idea and turn it into a successful business. I was really impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think as people who just launched things, we never had this sort of basic framework. It's kind of like reading and writing, and we just jumped in, and started somewhere in a business. And so I think even if you're along the way, it's great to come back and develop sort of these skills that no one ever really shared with us as entrepreneurs, and to just build up that basis. So it's really exciting to see all there's been probably thousands of people that have come through other programs, and I've personally gotten to work with probably 400 or 500 different businesses that are now serving people in the community. And so it's a beautiful thing. So I'm going to just share a short clip of this video. This is a little bit longer, but I'm just going to show you like 90 seconds of it. I'm going to just pause it and make sure that you can hear it. So let's see here.
This program
how's that? Can you hear that?
Cool.
Yeah. Yes.
This program has brought new meaning to my day-to-day life.
Prior to entering the program, my sales were down. I was thinking about ending my online business, but now I'm confident. Now I'm in that space and I'm doing it.
I went from being an employee since I was 12 years old in multiple businesses and always working for someone else, to now it's like I am the boss and I can be the boss and I'm comfortable being the boss.
I'm someone who's never started a business before. I didn't have the skill sets. I didn't understand the skill sets until being in the program.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to share the page here in the chat where if you or you know somebody who would like to get access to this resource, you can register. And if you live in Miami-Dade County and you're over 18 years of age, we would love for you to submit what it is that what you do. And hopefully I'll get to work with you in the program. So thanks for including me here today and letting me talk a little bit about what we're doing.
Awesome, Dane. I'm going to open it up to just one question or so. If anybody has a question, raise your hand. I'll pass you the mic. Monica. All right, I'm going to go. We'll do 2 quick questions. We got Mr. Leroy waiting, and I want to get to that because it's super important. But Monica and then Miss Sabine.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Danilo. How are you?
Morning. Good.
Good. It's good to be back. I have a question. The program that he's talking about, is there a fee for that? Because I logged in late a little bit.
Yeah.
Great question. There's no fee for it. So thanks to the support of JP Morgan Chase, the program is offered to Miami-Dade County residents at no cost.
And we only have room for 300. So, and 300 serious entrepreneurs that want to take their idea and take it and turn it into a successful business. You get theory, you get the instruction, and you get coaching, right, Dane?
Absolutely. This is not like a learn about entrepreneurship. This is like a hands-on. If this was a sport, it would be a contact sport because you're taking your idea and you're bringing it into the real world through this process and getting feedback and coaches who have experience with this sort of holding your hand along the way and giving you the guidance and the community that you need around you to be able to really push this,
Yeah.
So,
when do they need to qualify to apply?
Yeah, so to qualify to apply, there's very, very easy. So 18 years or older, live in Miami-Dade County, and we want to see it. So you're probably not the right fit for the program if you already feel like you have everything figured out. So if you feel like I've got everything figured out in my business, I'm just growing and scaling and ramping everything up, then there's probably another program that we can refer you to that's going to be more appropriate, because this is for people who are still trying to figure out those pieces of the puzzle. And that's what this is really designed to guide you through that process. And so growing and marketing and getting new customers is definitely a big part of it, but it's also trying to reformulate what is it, who are you, who are the people you want to serve, what is it that you provide that bridges that gap. And so there's that part of it. And so I would say that's the biggest thing is if you're still trying to figure things out, then this is great.
Hey, Dane, so it would be for someone who's starting out, right? Who wants the whole map of the theme park, so to speak, right? Of entrepreneurship. Yeah. And then the other thing is for someone who feels stuck or feels that they're missing something in their growth. Is that fair? And they're still early on in the startup cycle, let's say.
Yeah, and you could also be an established business that's going to launch a new product or service that you haven't already had experience with. And so so new,
fantastic.
Existing, but business is not going well and you want to reinvent it, or business is going well, but you're going to launch something new and you want help figuring that part of it out. Yeah, and it can be a business, a nonprofit, or even just a side hustle, a new revenue stream in your life. Yep.
Fantastic. Awesome. Ms. Sabine, you had a question?
No, Monica kind of touched on it. I came in towards the end, so y'all wrapped it up for me.
Okay, great. So it's a great opportunity for someone on this call, and if you can take advantage of it, where do they go, Dane, for signing up?
There's a link here in the chat here, howtostartsomething.com. But if you would like to include your email address, I can also reach out to you and make sure that we get you, anything that you need. So feel free to send me a direct message in the Zoom, or just go to howtostartsomething.com and you can start that sign up process.
Oh yeah, and just put your email so Dane can download the chat box, and he'll reach out to you. That's an amazing, generous offer. Thank you, Dane. All righty, well, thank you so much, Dane. Anything else you wanted to add?
Nope. I'm gonna let y'all get to it. I'm excited to hear the speaker here.
All right, Dane. Thank you and welcome. You can come and join us anytime, Dane.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay, so next up, our featured guest for today actually needs no introduction. He's Mr. Leroy Jones. He's the executive director of the Neighbors and Neighbors Association, my former boss, Mr. Leroy. And he's going to talk to us about mom and pop grant season, which is wide open right now. It's starting with 4 districts that have already opened their application process. And Mr. Leroy is going to give us an update on what's going on with that program. Plus, we can pick his brain. He's a man of a lot of wisdom about life and small business. I always like to listen what his to his guidance and advice, because he has a lot of great stuff to share. So, Mr. Leroy, welcome to the Morning Huddle, or welcome back. Let's give him a big round of applause, guys.
Hey, welcome, family. Thank you, thank you. I had to change my shirt. We got a police training here at the school, and so I rushed over there because I'm committed to doing this Zoom with your participants. Danny, first I want to thank you for the opportunity. You know, it's always a pleasure for me to share information, particularly around small businesses, because, you know, small businesses is the backbone of this economy. And Danny, I just want you to know how very proud I am of you, man. And I want you to always continue success, man. I really do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leroy.
I'm honored every time you say, you know, Mr. Leroy used to be my boss. That made me feel, that elevate me. It makes me feel so good because of what you accomplished, man, and where you at. You know, in some way it makes me feel I had some small role in that, man. So I thank you for that, man.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Leroy. You know, we go back 15 years. We've been working together. You were my boss, but also I was a volunteer at Nana with mom and pop grants right back in the day in District 10. I'll never forget that. That was so much fun. And we just clicked because, you know, you have that heart of serving your community, which I admire, and we're just following your lead, Mr. Leroy.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
So again, my name is Leroy Jones. I am the Executive Director of Neighbors and Neighbors Association. I have the pleasure and honor of serving as I would say, the creator of not only Neighbors and Neighbors Association, but the Mom and Pop Grant.
Mr. Leroy, you're on mute. Your microphone shut off. There you go.
It's my brainchild, you know, and so to see both the organization and that program, Neighbors and Neighbors been around, is going on its 26th year this year, and the Mom and Pop Grant program been around now. I want to say it's going to be soon going on its 24th year. So just to see how things are evolving, and that they took this little simple program that was created in one district to make it an official government program, man, is amazing. And that it's still standing, you know, and it's still serving small businesses. So I know you all want to hear a little something about the Mom and Pop Grant program. So, you know, it was designed, first it started in one district, then it took off 2 districts, then 3, then 5, and now it's a county-wide district. So all 13 county commission districts offer this grant program in their district. So I want you to know that, you know, regardless of the amount each district offers, the allotment is the same. So the county approves it. They divide it, the amount that they approve per district, the same amount. So if you see an application that says the maximum amount is 10,000, and you see a district application that says the maximum amount is 2,500, that don't mean the commission district that offering the 10,000 maximum amount receive more money than the district that's offering the maximum amount is 2,500. They all got the same amount. So I want first thing, because that's the first thing people call me and say, well, why you can get 10,000, you can apply for 10,000 in this district and you can only apply for 2,500 this district. So they just, each district just decide to make the amount that they think that, well, that they want the max to be. And I don't think any district awards anything under 1,000, but you're gonna see some applications, 2,500, $5,000. You may even see some $10,000, okay? But just be aware that all of them is the same. So the first thing I will say to you is, make sure you're applying in the right district, because that's where you start at. If you don't apply in the right district, they do not take the application and put it in the right district. Okay, so the first thing you might want to do, if you're unclear of what district you're in, you want to call 311. And you can tell that operator, I want to know who my county commissioner is. Make sure you say county commissioner, because you may be in a city within a county, which they call a municipality. So I think the county has 35 municipalities, and that means the municipality is in a city within the county. So when you call 311, make sure you tell the operator you want to know who your county commissioner is. That's where you begin. Then once you learn who your county commissioner is, then you can reach out to that county commissioner's district office. Or you can go on the county website. So you go on www.miamidade.gov, and you want to look for a mom and pop grant program. Okay. Now, most of the all the commissioner districts websites start off with www.miamidade.gov/. And then if you're in District 1, it'll say you'll put District 01. You're in District 2, you put District 02. If you're in District a double digit district, you'll put District 10, District 11, District 12, or District 13. So you can go on any one of them website, just put in www.miamidade.gov/district and put the number. But remember, if it's a single digit district you're in, you got to put 0 first. Okay. And when you get on that website, it'll let you know if the application is available or not. So right now, I think we only have 4 districts that applications is available. District 1 application became available in February 1st. District 4 application is available now. District 7 application is available now. And District 12 application is available now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those 4 districts, District 1, District 4, District 7, and District 12 applications are available right now. You can go on that county commissioner website and download the application right now. I think it's only 1 or 2 districts allow you to do the application online and submit it, but in most cases, you would have to download it, fill in the information, get the requested documentation, and then submit it, okay? Now, if you want to, you can go to the commissioner's office, their district office. So each commissioner district office will have the application. And also our district, our office will have some of the applications. So District 1, District 2, District 6, District 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, we would have their applications in our office, but you don't have to come to our office if you down south in District 8 or District 9. You don't have to come to our office. You can go to the commissioner's office, or you better yet, you can simply go on the commissioner's website and download the application.
Hey,
now,
Mr.
the reason
Leroy,
why I said be sure, yes, sir.
I had a question about the application because they make it available for some commissioner districts for a certain amount of time, and then you can't get it anymore, right?
Right. So all the applications don't come out the same day per district. So remember, right now you got 4 applications out now. Some is going to come out next week. That's why you got to be sure that you're applying in the right district so you don't miss the time period. And in most cases, the application is only going to be available for 2 weeks period. Now, you may have a district application 3 weeks, you may have one available for a month, but all the applications that we do, usually in that 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks time period. So that the time period is very short. And people say sometimes, well, why only 2 weeks? Why not a month? Because what we learn is no matter how long we make the application process for people to get it, they're going to always wait till, most of the people are going to wait to the last minute. So even if we say 2 months, people are going to start getting the applications and turning in the stuff a day or two before the last day. So we want you to get these applications because they're very, very simple. Okay, they're very simple. And so they only can be complicated if you make it complicated. People tend to sometimes think because the application is so simple that the questions are tricky. And it is not, it's no trick questions. It is what it is. So just as simple as it appears, that's how simple it is. In most cases, they just ask you questions about your business and you, and asking for things that they need from you to verify that you is an active business and current. Okay. So in all the districts, I'm sure you're going to need, if you incorporated, your incorporation going to have to be active. You're going to need a local business tax receipt that used to be called occupational license. They changed the name of it probably 7 or 8 years ago. And you can get that from the tax collector's office at 200 Northwest 2nd Avenue. I recommend that you go to the tax collector's office and do the application or take the application there, then do it online. Because doing it online, it's a lot more stuff you have to go through. And it's a lot more complicated applying for LBT online. If you go there, it's a simple one-page form. You fill it out. You take your corporation print out from SunBiz, take your tax ID number, fill out a one-page form, pay, bam, you do it, done. You get the original one right there on the spot. But if you do it online, it's a lot of hoops and stuff you have to go through. So I recommend everybody that don't have one to go to the tax collector's department and do it in person. And in most cases, they'll range anywhere between $45 to $150 in most cases. Okay. Now, if you're in a city, which is a municipality in the county, then you would have to go to that city and get a LBT as well. So like say if you're in Miami Gardens, if you're in Palmetto Bay, if you're in Florida City, Homestead, Opelika, North Miami Beach, North Miami. So if you're in a municipality, which is not unincorporated Dade, you would need a LBT from that municipality as well to apply for the program. If you operate under a fictitious name, you can apply too. But you got to have a tax ID number. You can use a social security number. Believe it or not, it's still people work using their social security numbers and not incorporated. Believe it or not. But if you filing your taxes under your social security number, we don't want your social security number, okay? So just give us the last 4. So do not put your whole social security number on any documentation for any program. And I'm not just saying the mom and pop grant program. For your safety, if they require your social security number, make sure you clear that up with the originators of the program or who offer the program to be sure, okay, for your safety. So a couple of things good about the program is that a few years ago, we started allowing people to use the money to pay for their lease if you're in a commercial storefront. So if you're in a commercial storefront, not home-based, not working out of your house, even though your business there, we can't pay your mortgage or your rent or your lease there. But if you're in a commercial storefront, you can actually use this money to pay your lease. And if you own the building and can prove that your business is in the building and you have a mortgage, you can even use the money to pay your mortgage, but your business have to be located in the commercial storefront in which you own as well. Inventory, supplies, marketing, advertisement, security stuff. That means security alarms, security shutters, security doors, security bars, anything that got to do with security. General liability insurance, you can use the funding for. If you want to do minor repairs that don't need a permit, like painting, floors, changing the door, things like that, that very simple, that you don't need a permit, then you can use that funding for, but you have to get it approved from us because we want to make sure that you're not opening up a can of worms that this money can't cover. And then you end up getting a citation from the building department, and it'll put you in a worse shape than what you was in before you apply for the program. So the most important things you need to do is make sure you got the things that is required. Make sure first you're picking up the right application, because the guidelines per district is different. So it's not a one shoe fit all. And I think that's the great thing about this program, and why I managed to stay around, is because it's not a one shoe fit all program. So for example, what I mean is one application don't cover all the districts. You know why we decided to make it that way? Is because every district is different. Every community is different. So we thought early on that if we don't make it a one shoe fit all program, then that means the people that the program is trying to focus on and target get the opportunity to apply. So it's not a lot of money. I've seen days, I've seen years where it was $300,000 per district, around about the times, the first few years when we started, when we first created this program. And as it grew and as more districts came on, the amount got smaller. And so right now, each district has $80,270 per district. However, that don't exclude the commissioner of the district in putting more money in it. So for example, last year, District 2, they had $80,275. The commissioner of that district put an additional $150,000 from the Marlins Fund into his mom and pop grant program. District 6 done the same. District 12 done not the same exact amount of money, but each one of them. District 11 put in $150,000, I think, $1,000 in their district. So last year was very good because almost all the districts, even District 3, put in additional money in the mom and pop grant program last year. So last year was very good because most of the districts, the commissioners got extra funding that was available from like the Marlins deal, things like that, and they put more money into the mom and pop grant program. So hopefully we'll see that trend again this year. Okay, so remember, the applications may come out a different time. The time period in which you fill it in may be different, but most importantly, the guidelines in each district has some differences in it, and most of them. Okay, so that's why you got to make sure you got the right one, because when you apply in the wrong district and they send you a letter saying, unfortunately, you didn't apply in the right district, you can't be upset, because they're not going to take it and transfer it in the right district. That's your job, to learn who your commissioner is and what district number in Miami-Dade County that you're located in. So I want to say that this is a unique program. It's certainly one of its kind. And I want you to verify this with me. If you Google your phone and look at August 14th, 2014, and Google the New York Times. So in 2014, the New York Times newspaper did a study, and they wanted to know what states was impacting very small businesses the most. What programs were the best programs that was in the whole country? So they did this study in the whole United States of America. They wanted to figure out what was the best programs that was impacting small businesses in the country. They picked 6 states, and out of the 6 states, they narrowed it down to 6 cities. And in the 6 cities, Miami was one. And guess what program was picked in Miami? The Mom and Pop Grant Program. So a program that I created thanks to Commissioner Barbara Carey Schuler, who entrusted me and believed in me and gave me that opportunity to create this program, right? So she had to have some confidence in me to award grant money to somebody who at that time didn't know anything about government, but I guess I had what people was looking for. That's the unity part in the trust, you know, and allow me to create this program. And now think about it. In 2014, it was mentioned in the second most read newspaper in the world, right? And that come because you know, nobody can be successful alone, and everybody needs somebody to believe in them and give them an opportunity. Everything that you do in your life comes by opportunity. Everything is a first. Your first step, your first crawl, the first bite of food you ate, the first clothes you was able to put on yourself, the first pair of shoes you ever owned. So everything in your life, everything is a first. It had to be a first. Everything. And that's even outside of your life. Everything is a first. It's a first for everything, right? So I just want you to remember that. And I want to close with this, and I'll answer any questions about the Mom and Pop Grant Program, is that I would ask you to do your very best to make sure that you're valuing your worth of your business at the level that it should. And I tell you what I mean. Don't go to get your taxes done by somebody who's going to tell you, don't worry, I'm going to make sure you don't have to pay taxes. Now, don't nobody want to pay taxes, but listen, don't go to somebody that's going to tell you, I'm going to make sure every year you don't have to pay taxes. And when you do that, you devaluing what your business is worth. Because think about it. If you've been in business for 20 years, and for 20 years you've been telling Uncle Sam you ain't made no money, then your business ain't worth no money. And then if you go and try to get a loan, guess what the bank and the lender's going to say? They're not going to financially help you because your business ain't generating no money to pay the loan back. And then if you have to sell it, the person who's going to buy it, in most cases, they're going to want to see the books to see at least 5 years of how much money the business made. And you're going to show them books that your business ain't made no money, which means you devaluing the cost and the asset in what your company is worth. And so do the right thing. Pay your taxes. There's so many things you can write off on your taxes, right? Things that you don't do. All you got to do is do your research. Because remember, that person who does your taxes, if they don't do it right, it ain't going to be their fault. It's your fault. Because Uncle Sam is not going to hold them accountable for your taxes. That's why they have you sign the taxes verifying it. Because it's going to be your responsibility, even though you pay them. And even though they might be licensed to do it, it's still going to be you. At the end of the day, you're the one going to be audited and have to pay the piper for it, okay? So let's just start off right. If you don't know something, ask somebody, you know, and do your research. Now is the time where it's so much of training available every day, all day. When you got some free time, jump on a Zoom, jump on a business meeting. You know, you can do it right on your phone, just like we're doing now. And get that training, because I don't care how much money somebody give you. I don't care how much loan money, how much grant you get. If you can't operate your business the way it slowly operating, is not going to be profitable for you. And that money just going to be going down the drain. Okay? So you took a chance. You asked your mama and your cousins for money to start this business. You know, you put your children on their way. Say, I give you my firstborn if you give me $20,000, so I'm going to open this business. That's how much I believe in my company. You know, you did all that. Now you got to make it work. So just like you can get up and go to work for somebody every day, and you have to take that mess off them, you can put that energy into making your business positive and successful. All you got to do is continue taking the training, continue doing the research, and guess what? Evolve when the economy and when the future evolves. And I want to close with that, Danny. I got to answer any questions anybody has.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Leroy. Ms. Sardebra and then Ms. Sharon have some questions. Ms. Sardebra?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Jones.
Good
I
morning,
was
Mary.
just wondering, is there anything that you have set up to let people who are denied the loan know, the grant, know why they were denied? Because I encountered several people last year who had received it in the past, and they got a letter that just said that they were not getting the grant, and there was nothing to tell them why they weren't getting it, anything like that. So will something be set up, or is that
So before COVID, we used to allow people who was not selected or qualified, we used to allow them to come to our office and go through their application. And because when you put in the letter, what we found is when you put in the letter what the person did wrong or missed out, and they'll be arguing with you saying it's not true. I know I did that. Oh, I know I signed that paper. I know I didn't left that blank. And they'll be swearing you down. And then when they come to the office, then they'll say, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I did it. And so we found that we allow people to come to our office for the districts we do to see what the mistakes was so that next year they won't make the same mistakes. But not only that, just because you get a denial don't necessarily mean you had a bad application. Remember, it's only $80,275. And I'm going to make this as an example. Last year, we got 290 applications for District 2. So we can get a lot of applications. And when you weigh the money and how many applications it is, no way, half of the people could get everything or get something. Less than like some districts, they get very few applications and they decide that it would be best just to divide the money equally per applicant, but everything has to be right. So some districts will allow you to fix things. If you left something out or missing something, they call it a cure. So sometimes the selection committee may allow you to cure your application, but then sometimes they don't allow cure, especially when it's a lot of applications. And one other thing I want to say too, you got to check the guidelines because some districts, if you get funding this year, the next year you may have to sit out. Or if you get funding 2 years in a row, the year after that you have to sit out. In some districts, they didn't allow you to apply if you got funding anytime in the past. So that's why it's important that you get the right application so you can have the right guidelines that will tell you what has to be followed and if it's going to allow you to apply or not. So I can't speak for the districts that we no longer do anymore. But the districts that we do, they all have selection committees that don't work for me or don't work for the commissioner's office. They people either live, work, own a business, or part of an organization or homeowner association or something in the district that review the applications and make the recommendations. So just because you wasn't funded don't mean that you didn't have a good application. But in some cases, the applications are not good. But just keep in mind that it's not a lot of funding. It's only $80,275. Okay.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deborah. Thank you, Mr. Leroy. Next up, Ms. Sharon.
Hey, everybody. Nice to see you all. Thank you, Mr. Leroy. I do have a few questions. I wanted to know who conducted the study. I looked for I searched really quickly and I couldn't find the study. Do you know who conducted the study?
What study, ma'am?
The 2014 business study that you were mentioning.
The New York Times. The New York Times newspaper. So August 14th, go to the New York Times newspaper, August 14th, 2014. And you want to scroll till you find, it's going to pop out, it's going to say Mom and Pop Grant Program. August 14th, 2014.
Thank you.
Newspaper. You're welcome.
Okay, then I had do you have a website for the neighbors?
No, ma'am. So we have one for our incubators, but you can call our office.
Okay.
So we won't have the applications on our website, because we don't, the commissioner's office does that. You can go to, if you're down south, you can get the applications from our Richmond Heights office in Richmond Heights in the Larsenio J Plaza, the Larsenio J Bullard Plaza in Richmond Heights.
Do you have an office in North Beach?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
North Beach is that's District 4.
I don't know. I have to look it up. Is it on my voting card? Must be on my voting card, right?
What's the address of North Beach? Can you tell me?
1405 Normandy Drive.
That's not up where Aventura is?
No, it's a little south of that by 40 minutes, 45 minutes south.
Would that be, what's the zip code?
33141. But I can look up my district. Don't worry about it. I don't want to waste everybody's time.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much
You're
for sharing.
welcome.
Next up, we have two hands raised. We have Miss Sharon and then Miss Stacy. Miss Sharon, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Good morning. My question is the money just for people who are already established, or can it be used for a startup?
Good question. So each district guidelines is different. In the past, the only district that allowed startup was District 2. But you still had to have your corporation, local business tax receipt, state license if it was required. So if you got it during the time period of the application before the last day in District 2, you could apply. So that means you was new, but you were still a certified business because you had everything that was required. I don't know if that's going to be the same requirement for District 2 yet. The application come out in February the 21st. So I think we're still working on the application. But other than that, none of the other districts allowed people to apply. In most cases, you had to prove that you was in business for at least a year. In some districts, 2 years. So in the past, no ma'am, only District 2 allowed that. And I want to say for the last maybe 3 years, 4 years, they allowed that. But I don't know if that's going to be the case this time.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day and congratulations.
And Ms. Sharon, we have the newsletter to inform you about other opportunities for funding. And also there is accesshelps.org, and you can find some funding there, perhaps for startups. So check those resources out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Next up is Miss Stacy. Happy Friday, Stacy.
Happy Friday, Danilo. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here, Mr. Leroy. I have a quick question. I wanted to know with regards to businesses that no longer have a commercial storefront and are now home-based businesses or online, are they still eligible for the grant?
So I think all the districts allow home-based businesses to apply. So I know certainly all the ones that we do allow home-based businesses to apply, but you still had to have everything that you're supposed to have, even though you're home-based. For example, you still had to have an LBT for the county and the city. If you're in the city, you're incorporated, still have to be active. Remember, so make sure that you pay your corporation fee before May the 1st, because if you don't pay it by May the 1st, you're going to be hit with a $400 penalty on top of what you had to pay anyway. So it's the $400 plus what you normally will pay. They don't waive the late penalty fee for the state of Florida for your corporation fee anymore. And the deadline is May the 1st, okay? So make sure you do that, because when you apply and they check your SunBiz, and if it's inactive, then you're going to be disqualified. So you got to make sure your corporation, your LLC, or your fictitious is current to apply.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Fantastic. You know what? There was another thing I forgot to mention to Ms. Sharon, who asked a question early, Mr. Leroy. You know that new program, the SSBCI, state small business credit initiative. They do take any business of any size, Miss Sharon, and they even include 1099s for that funding. So you want to take a look at that. Yeah, it's a good opportunity. Next up is Miss Sabine. Miss Sabine, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I just wanted to say hi to Mr. Leroy and thank you for making this grant opportunity available to small businesses. I have been a recipient twice, and I like how he does it, because you know how he was talking about earlier, people arguing with him about what was on their application or not. Literally, since the pandemic of me watching him, he has workshops in each district, and he goes over every part of the application. So if you filled it out wrong, it's because you weren't paying attention. And so he's very specific, and he's even sarcastic about it. But it's funny because it's stuff that people do that he's just bringing up, and it's funny at the end of the day. But I know, is it still the same? Certain districts, if you've applied before and received it that particular year, then you're not eligible until the following year?
So I don't know. You have to check the guidelines to see if they're going to allow you to apply or not, because they switch it up. You can, sometimes they can go 3 years and allow anybody who applied anytime in the past or new people. And then the next day it can say, no, if you got money in the past, you can't apply. So the best thing to do, make sure if it's not out yet, when you get out day one, get the application, go over the guidelines to see if you're eligible to apply again. And so I'm glad you brought that point up. So every district that we do have an information meeting. Some of the information meetings is mandatory, which means if you don't participate in that meeting, they're going to disqualify you. But some, they let you use your own discretion if you want to participate in not or not. But I recommend that everybody do that haven't applied before. And even if you apply because you might want to freshen yourself up, that you participate in those information meetings, because like she said, I go over every line of that application and I answer every question, and I don't leave until I answer every question. And although some of the questions can be redundant, can be the same question 10 times, and when I find when people do that, they want me to say, what they want to hear and not what I'm telling you. And so the questions can be the same questions over and over and over again. You're going to get the same answer from me over and over and over again. But I suggest that you don't fill out the application until you participate in the information meeting. That way, all your questions can be answered.
Fantastic. And yeah, I saw that. I think District 12 has a mandatory information session,
right,
Mr. Leroy.
Right.
Okay. Ms. Yasnay has a question or a comment. Ms. Yasnay, happy Friday.
Hey, Ms. Yasnay.
Friday. Nice to see you, Mr. Leroy. I just wanted to reemphasize, and I'm glad you always bring this subject and bring this wisdom to entrepreneurs about the importance of your numbers and what your taxes are showing and how you're organized with your finances, and making sure that you are not only organized, but really looking at your numbers in a way that allows you to be profitable, that allows you to make the right decisions. I always say it. I just wanted to thank you for saying it, because coming from you, once again, I think has a big weight, and it's so important, so important. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yasnay. If y'all don't know her, get to know her. Well, that's a sharp sister there, boy. She know her business. So if y'all don't know her, maybe you might want to put in the chat for her to give you her information so you can reach out to her. So yeah, thank you for echoing that. Like, that's so important that, that you want to start off right. And if it ain't right, start now to make it right, because you don't want to devalue what you work so hard for. You want to get the maximum amount of what your business is worth if you want to sell it. You know what I mean? So, and if you want to leave it over to your children, you want to make sure it's ran properly. And, and having good books you know, and doing your responsibility, you know, you want to do that right, because you don't want to have to go back and fix it. You know, it's hard, you know, when you're trying to, it's just like you telling the lie, and you have to keep telling that lie, and it ain't gonna come out right all the time. You ain't gonna say it the same way. So you say it, do it right the first time, then you won't have to worry about that. And it makes you feel good too. At the end of the day, it makes you feel, it does something to your morale, you know? So if for that.
And I wanna also say, if for some reason you have not been doing it right, you still have the opportunity to make it right.
That's right.
Right? You can fix it, but you have to start now. You can fix it. I've seen real transformation for those that are really committed to fix it. So thank you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. I see Miss Sabine has her hand up. Real quickly, Miss Sabine, because we're just about out of time, and I'll have one big question for Mr. Leroy before he leaves us.
Okay,
Miss
it's not Sabine. It's Joan. I'm with Sabine, but
okay,
this
Ms.
is Joan
Joan.
Oliver from
Yes,
Stay
ma'am.
Connected Fashions. I just would like to know if I can use my address, my iPostal address, because my business is a home-based business right now. So I just would like to know if I can use my iPostal address, or should I use the one it's registered under?
So
when you're filling out the applications.
Okay, so another thing that's important, all your documentation have to match.
Okay.
So your corporation got to have the same address as your LBT. Got to have the same address as your state license.
Okay.
So everything has to match. It can't be one address here and one address there. It has to match.
All righty. Okay, so I'll just use the address, my home address, because that's where the business is. The only reason why, of course, you know that it's not safe using your address and sending things like, you know, like people sending you stuff and I'm sending them things. So that's the reason why I did the iPostal, but I'll use the one that's registered. Thank you so much.
And another thing, they don't allow PO boxes.
Okay, because it is.
So you can't use a PO box as an address. You cannot use a PO box as an address.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Leroy. I wanted to ask you. I always like to pick your brain about stuff that's going on for small business. Get some wisdom from you. You see everything. What are you seeing, Mr. Leroy? They're talking about recession. Where they're talking about, you know, all these robots doing things. You heard about that Chat GPT, Mr. Leroy. What advice for the 2023 can you give the small business owners in on the call right now? Like, what are you seeing that you think is critical for this year to focus on? There's a lot going on in the world, right? A lot of challenges.
Yeah. So let's say, use me for an example. I am not technology savvy at all. Danny can tell you. I had to text him this morning and say, do I have to register? Or if you can send me the link directly where I can just touch the link and it come on. Because like, I like to learn new things, right? But I'm at this stage now in my life, and that don't mean it have to be you, where I got so much stuff going on, and me learning a lot of new stuff, taken away from all the stuff that I have to do. So that's why I surround myself with people that got the technology skill and all that kind of stuff. So if you, like me, and you don't have the technology skill, get one of your children or somebody you close to. Let's say the children know everything about computers and cell phone. Like you can give them, they 6, 7 years old, you can get them a cell phone. They can make the cell phone walk down the street by itself. When you come back, they can tell you everything about that cell phone. Ain't got to read one paper. Ain't got to read no magazine. They ain't got to read no instructions. Go use that computer or use your phone to do your research. I find oftentimes a lot of businesses, people, when they start in their business, this is what they start with. First, they scrape up the money. And then they go find a location because they want the location cheap. They go look for the cheapest place they can find to rent. In most cases, the cheapest place is not the best area for their business to be in. But they don't think that. They think if they get in this commercial storefront because it's cheap, then they're gonna make money. But guess what? Nobody in that whole area patronized the type of business that they got. So what in a few months, they broke, right? Or they closing down. And so sometimes you have to put your money where your mouth at. If you want to be in a good location where you know you need to be, it's gonna cost money in most cases, right? Then you got your group of people that scrape up everything and they go into business just solely to make money. Now everybody go in business to make money. So I'm not saying you going into business not to make money. Everybody go in business to make money. But guess what? If you just pick a business to go in just because it makes a lot of money and you don't know anything about that business and you don't really like it, you just like it, love it because of the money you can make, then when it don't produce what the money or what you wanted to produce, then you lose your morale. And then you hate getting up in the morning going there because it ain't making the money that you want to make. And then you take it out on your customers, and then you find the cheap way, the cheap route, and then you close again. So your passion is find out what you really, really like me. Let's take me and Nana. Like I can't wait go to sleep at night to get up to come to work every day. Like I think I got the best job in the world, right? No matter, I'm in the heart of the ghetto, I'm surrounded by people who struggling every day in this neighborhood. And they come here for everything, things that we don't even do. But because they know we're here and they know we get government money, they want us to solve every problem that come here. And I have to take all that stuff home with me, right, in my head. But I still love getting up, doing it in the morning. And that's what makes it work because I love it. And so the answer to any question, what I would say to you is, man, know your business. Know what you're getting into. Things change every day in the business world. What you learned today, 2 days later, might be something different. So you got to learn to recreate yourself with how life is going. So the old way of putting your receipts in a crate, in a bag, no longer work. You got to get that spreadsheet to get you an accountant. You got to do the QuickBooks to do it right, because putting it in that greasy bag or putting it in that crate and folding it up and taking it to the tax man don't work anymore. You got to evolve with the time. So do your homework. Take as much training as your mind will let you take, because it's free and it's everywhere. And that will outweigh the money. And make sure you got all the proper license that you need, because if you don't have the proper license, then you can't apply for the money. So since COVID, that's what we've been seeing. People operating without everything that they need. People operating on assumptions and not doing their homework. And they're not making right choices. So
wow.
I hope that answered your question, Danny.
Yes, sir. It did. It did. But I have a follow-up, real quick follow-up. You mentioned, that you see folks that are struggling around you, all this stuff, and we all sense that a lot of people are struggling around us, and we see the world struggling, Mr. Leroy. But I always see you calm, positive, energized. What do you do in your life to keep that going? How do you keep your spirit up high and your morale up high?
So, man, that's a good question, man. That's a good question, man. What do I do to keep my morale and my spirit high? The key is don't panic and don't worry. I think that's what keeps my morale and my spirit high, because I do my very best not to panic in any situation. And I know worrying don't fix or change nothing. You got to, it's this young lady, she come here all the time. Her name is Vicky Bobo. And I don't care what you always ask her, how you doing? How was your day? She always say, I take the good and the bad and I make it work. Whoa. She say, I take the good and the bad and I make it work. If that ain't, that's, think about that. So I would say, don't panic, because every day ain't gonna be good and every day ain't gonna be beautiful and every day ain't gonna be right and you ain't gonna make money every day. It ain't gonna always go the way you plan. So don't panic. Just sit back and think it through. You know, in most cases, you got time to think it through. And don't stress over it. Okay, don't worry about it. If you do your best that you can do, what else can you do? But only your best. Just do your best. And don't panic. And I promise you, when one door closed, another one open.
Wow, Mr. Leroy, thank you so much for that. That's great advice. So let's give Mr. Leroy a big round of applause, guys. Always inspirational. We learn about the mom and pop, Mr. Leroy, but you give us so much more than just the grant info every single time. I love when you come on the Morning Huddle. We'll have you back again in a couple of months. Come back anytime you want to share anything about the Brotherhood or any other initiatives, Mr. Leroy.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. And I just want to salute you all for real, because having a small business can be challenging. But it's a true saying. Having a small business is the American dream. And I know people say owning a house is American dream, but guess what? If you ain't got no money, you can't own a house. But if you got a thriving business, you can own a house. So let's put the business first, because at the end of the day, money can help you with 99% of your problems. Money can solve 99% of your problems, right? Even some health issues that you have, but some health issues it can't. It can't bring you back alive. But 99% of the problems that you have and you face with, money can solve it. It can help you solve it. Let's put it that way. Okay? So you want to be thriving. You live in the American dream. The American dream is not owning a house. It's owning a business first. Because if you own that business and you're making money, you own everything else.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leroy. We'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
Thank you.
I hope to see you in person soon. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Have
sir.
a great one.
Love you, Danny.
Thank you. Love you, Mr. Leroy.
All right, everybody. Love you. Much success. See you in the whirlwind.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leroy.